Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman as love-struck immigrants in Far and Away. Sigourney Weaver is held prisoner on a dangerous planet in Alien 3. And Whoopi Goldberg hides out in a convent in Sister Act.
Whoopi Goldberg stars as a nightclub singer who hides in a nunnery to escape mobsters in the comedy Sister Act. It's one of 4 new big summer movies we'll be reviewing this week on Siskel Ebert, including Alien 3 and Far and Away. And Roger went Far and Away recently to the Cannes Film Festival. He'll have a special report. I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune.
And I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times. Our first movie is named Sister Act, starring Whoopi Goldberg as a Reno lounge singer who witnesses a murder and hides from the mob by entering a convent under the Witness Protection Program. That's a great idea for a movie, and Goldberg is good in it, but apart from some isolated comedy scenes, the movie seems strangely low-key and low-spirited. It doesn't have the zest we'd expect from this material. One of the downers in the movie is Maggie Smith as the Mother Superior. She doesn't approve of her latest nun, which is no surprise, but it's depressing when she plays her entire role as if this is serious drama.
Mary Clarence, I think you might enjoy a ritual fast.
A ritual for... No, I don't think I would. I'd just put a little salt in it, it'll be fine. Look, I'm gonna pass me the salt over there.
A fast. To remind you of those who must endure without food.
Escaping the cloistered life in the convent, Whoopi inadvertently leads a couple of the nuns across the street for a night out. Some of the best moments in the movie belong to Kathy Najimy as a nun who always seems about to suppress a giggle.
Oh, a jukebox. Oh, one song, one song. Do you have a word one song, please?
No.
Come on, he does. All right. It'll come back to you tenfold, thanks.
Hurry up. Hurry up.
Oh, I love this song. Gimme, 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 gimme tonight. One dance, I'll be right back, please.
Eventually, she's appointed choir director and brings an unexpected taste of Motown into the Sunday services.
No handsome face could ever take the place of my God. My God. He may not be a movie star, but when it comes to being happy, we are. He's not a man today who could take me away from my God.
Let's take it home, ladies.
There were moments in Sister Act when I did laugh loudly, but unfortunately they were mostly in the coming attractions trailer, which I saw 3 times before I saw the movie, and which gives away most of the movie's surprises and plunders almost all of the jokes, so that seeing the film itself is a curious case of deja vu. But at least the trailer was put together with high energy and zeal. The movie itself seems slower and less high-spirited, and the director, Emile Ardolino, has no apparent style at all, either visual or comedic. The movie feels as if it were directed out of a textbook, and when Whoopi gets a laugh, it's because of the dialogue and because of her performance, with no thanks to the lackluster filmmaking.
You know, I would say I wouldn't fault the director as much as I'd fault the writing here, because my take on the picture was there isn't a scene in this movie that isn't what I would have expected if you told me the plot. You're going to see the stern Mother Superior. You're going to see the fat, jolly nun. You're going to see the shy nun. Then you're going to see Whoopi charm them and bring soul to the people that are supposed to be saving our souls. And then you're going to see the guys that are trying to get her catch up to her, and we're going to have a little chase action. It marches along. And here's what's strange, Roger. The crowd I saw it with liked the picture a lot, applauding. but I thought it was so flimsy. I felt bad that I wasn't enjoying it, but it was so flimsy.
You know, the problem with a screenplay like this is that in Hollywood, they have basic formulas.
You bet.
They pass them out, they Xerox them, they teach them in screenwriting school. You find out exactly where you're supposed to be at the 30-minute mark, at the 60-minute mark. Watching this movie, if you can kind of forget exactly what it's about, is like watching 100 other movies because the formula is exactly the same, and that's why it felt so predictable to you. So when something is funny, it's because Whoopi and the other people are able to find something in themselves to make it funny. There's nothing really there for them to work with.
You said you laughed. I did not. Next movie, and our next film is the teenage comedy Encino Man, which badly mixes the juvenile humor of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure with the storyline of E.T. A couple of California Valley guys find a Cro-Magnon man in their backyard. They defrost him and bring him to school.
You see my locker? Poor Stone Ager. He spent 1,000,000 years chilling on a block of ice. Now he's got to go to high school.
Who's that guy with the dork squad? Oh my God, he is totally rude. Totally.
That's Brendan Fraser as Link, the Encino Man, assisted by Sean Astin, and Pauly Shore from MTV as the wigged-out Stoney. Here the boys have their idea of fun at a convenience store. I'm sure the managers of all the 7-Elevens nationwide are going to love this scene.
Link and I are cruising the mountain, bro, and we figure we's a little juice.
No, we sing the Jews. We's the Jews. No, we sing the Jews.
No, we sing the Jews.
Chill,
but Jews. No.
Unlike Wayne's World, not a lot of thought went into the making of Encino Man. I got the idea while watching this picture that the filmmakers put together a list of standard teenage high school situations and simply plugged these guys into it. The film plays like a series of blackout sketches. I also found a little of this Pauly Shore as Stoney went a long way. I could see a young actor doing an act, which wasn't my experience while watching either Bill and Ted or Wayne's World, so thumbs down for me.
Thumbs down for me, too. I found this movie really dreary and really slow and really uninteresting, and you know, when you think about a guy actually being from hundreds of thousands of years ago and coming into the present day, you would expect him to do more once they shampoo him, shave him, and dress him up than stand around basically gawking at everything like a typical American teenager who simply doesn't speak English. They don't have any creativity in what they do with this character.
Well, I'm going to find a link between these two pictures.
Okay.
And that is, why not deal with the situation like it might really play out with not real bright people, but you know, people that are at least sentient. Why not have Whoopi Goldberg, to go back, why not have Whoopi Goldberg challenge the religion of these characters, of the nuns? Why not have the nuns deal with her lack of organized religion? Similarly, why not have this character be, you know, remote and all this, and have the kids try and deal with him and have it become a science project?
These two movies are almost like exercises in which the filmmakers are saying, how can I best make a typical movie like the formula for this genre, and what can I do to avoid doing anything original or anything different or anything challenging?
And the question, of course, back to us would be, and your ideas are really going to sell a lot. Well, I tell you this.
Wayne's World sold.
Yes.
Wayne's World sold.
That's my argument.
Yes,
Wayne's World had some fresh scenes that you wouldn't expect, and it's a huge hit. Coming up next, Alien 3 with Sigourney Weaver and another rematch against the Spider from Hell.
There's no way to escape. With the arrival of the next supply ship, the company would eliminate you.
This is a maximum security prison, and you have no weapons of any kind?
Sigourney Weaver has just crash-landed on a prison planet in Alien 3, the third and least exciting, but in some ways the most interesting movie about that plague of spider-like monsters from outer space. Weaver's lifeboat has brought her to a shabby, dreary planet inhabited mostly by sex offenders, and she suspects there may have been a stowaway on her craft, another one of those loathsome, slimy creatures who have been crawling into her nightmares ever since the first Alien in 1979.
What happened? What started the fire, Bishop? You hear me?
The fire was electrical.
That's Lance Henriksen, or what's left of him, as the shattered android who crash-landed along with her. After she learns an alien may have followed her, Weaver has trouble convincing the locals of the danger.
Stop this raving at once!
I'm telling you! It's here!
Mr. Aaron, get that foolish woman back to the infirmary!
too much of the movie is devoted to footage like this, an alien's eye view, in which we quickly realize that a human could outrun this creature only in the movies.
Hey, 7, close! Over in the east wing! Don't be 7, safe!
Alien 3 is probably going to be a disappointment to most of the fans of the first two movies because it's dark, depressing, grungy, and lacking in the kind of high-tension action that closed the first and especially the second movie. But there are interesting elements here, especially the art direction, which creates this prison world in shades of rust and mold and despair. It's a great movie to look at, but the chase scenes at the end are drawn out and repetitious, and so I have to give it a thumbs down. This is probably the best-looking bad movie I've seen in a while.
Yeah, I had exactly the same reaction, too. I thought she did a real good job playing this character again the third time, and she makes her character interesting a third time. But I didn't think there was anything supporting her except maybe the look of the picture. The monster didn't show me any new tricks, and I felt, as you said, that I was really watching just a monster loose in the house movie, and I got tired of it at the end.
You know, I looked at Aliens, the second movie, on Laserdisc not very long ago. The end of that movie really winds up with a lot of tension. She has to go back into that space area station to try to rescue the little girl from the monster, and there's a lot of devious stuff going on. Remember when the monster figures out how to run the elevator? That was a great moment in that movie. Well, and in this film, it's just chase. They run around and around, and the monster runs around after them, and it goes on, and that's it.
That's it. Coming up next, Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman co-star in Ron Howard's Irish epic, Far and Away.
Never seen anything like you in all my living life.
Grace is a tramp. She's a dancer in the Burley Queue.
That isn't dancing. That's kicking her knickers up. And I suspect if you asked her to, she'd kick her knickers off.
That obviously is Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman as feuding lovers in Ron Howard's Far and Away, an epic-sized romantic drama set in both Ireland and America near the turn of the century, following two very different young people, one rich, one poor, with different reasons for wanting to come to America. And I'll tell you right away that I'm in the minority of critics on this film. I kind of like the picture. Why? The stunning physical landscape and the performance of Cruise, and especially Kidman. He plays a working-class lad whose home is burned down by agents of Kidman's wealthy father. And Cruise surprises her on her father's estate.
Father!
Well, naturally, they soon hit it off, especially after she sneaks a peek at him while he recuperates at her home. They both go to America, she to escape an arranged marriage, he to seek his fortune. He soon becomes a boxer, and she thinks he's just paid beef.
Pickle you like a piece of pork. We're just using you.
Said that's enough.
No! What? No! No! No!
They break apart but are reunited during a great event, the Oklahoma Land Rush of 1893. Here's a genuinely bittersweet, romantic scene.
You know what you wanted back in Ireland. And look at you. Here you are. You're a corker, Shannon. What a corker you are.
I like them together. I did even in Days of Thunder. Now, Tom Cruise's talent is often noted, but I'd like to put in a word for Nicole Kidman here. She plays characters that could easily be silly, just the attachment. But in her every picture, from the thriller Dead Calm to Far and Away, she displays some real grit, a reserve, a confidence that makes her more than an extension of the man she's drawn to. In fact, I'd argue that she's the real prize in her films, even when she is appearing with Tom Cruise. Far and Away looks great, shot on 65mm film. A big problem, however, is its unrelenting Irish stereotypes of drinking and fighting. Boy, I got tired of that. but I still recommend the film for the romance.
Yeah, I guess the Irish are still one ethnic group where you can, you know...
Unbelievable.
Inevitably portray them. You know, he's an Irishman, he comes to Boston, what's he going to do? Get in a saloon fight within, you know, 30 seconds after he gets off the ship. I agree with you that this is a great-looking movie. You know, it might almost be worth looking at.
I think so.
Just for the scenery. But that's the only reason that I would go to see it,
find
because,
it romantic?
oh, I thought the story was really cornball. These people are simple-minded, so simple-minded, they don't even realize that they come not only from two different classes, but two different religions. In Ireland in that time, he would have been a Catholic, she would definitely have been a Protestant. That would have been probably the most important issue in their lives. This movie never brings it up because it doesn't want to get involved in the real world. It's just kind of like he's going to find Cinderella and they'll go off to the new world together and live happily ever after without ever talking about anything of substance in the entire film.
I agree with you that if they had, because that's the complaint I'm using to much lesser movies earlier in the show, so I'm not going to say that this film doesn't commit the same sin, but at the same time, I'm just talking about the level of interaction between the two of them. You didn't find them romantic.
Well, here's the thing. Now, this movie looks as good as one of the great David Lean 70mm pictures, like Ryan's Daughter, like Lawrence of Arabia. If it were only written at that level, if it only had a screenplay where two interesting and intelligent people are dealing with each other as human beings instead of as cliches out of old love stories, it could have been a terrific movie.
It could have been written better. It could have been written brighter. I think the romance is there. I think there's a strength of character in her in particular that I found appealing.
Okay, when we come back, a special report from this year's Cannes Film Festival, which premiered a lot of films that we're going to be seeing this summer and autumn.
There's two ways you can go on this job.